What's up, friends? It is your girl, Sarah from Sarah's Styles here. I'm back. I took the summer off. If you don't follow me, I have 3 children at home. And so I took the summer essentially off to be home with them, spend the time with them, ages 5, 7, and 16. The 16-year-old got a job and has a car now, so not as much time with him. But taking the summer off to me essentially meant that I had enough photos. I took enough photos to last me 2.5 months for my VAs to create 8 drafts a day. And then I launched 8 drafts a day and I shipped what sold. That was it. I wasn't sourcing. I wasn't taking photos. I spent all of May, some of April even, to get that far ahead and really just spent the time with my children. You never get that back. And as they get older, like I said, I have a 16-year-old. I know it goes so fast. So that's how I spent my summer. I am so excited to be back. They went back to school last week and I had to kind of get things back in sorts to figure my life out, reselling what I was going to be doing and start up YouTube again. And I wanted to pop on and say hello to everyone. So if you guys are watching this, definitely let me know who is here in the chat and how your summer was. I see Tim is here. I actually went to high school with Tim and we both kind of resell. So it's great to see you here, Tim. And I want to touch base on something that he said, because let me know if you guys are noticing. I posted on my Instagram actually yesterday. I went sourcing thrifting for the first time in like months. It's getting harder out there. Let me know if you guys are noticing the same things. He does a lot of garage sales. He said garage sales treated me okay, but not as good as past years. I don't do a lot of garage sales because there's not, typically speaking, you can't get a lot of women's clothing, shoes, and purses at garage sales. Maybe here and there, but not a lot. But thrifting has definitely not as been as good. And on that note, so when I say I wasn't outsourcing, I wasn't thrifting, I wasn't actively sourcing. I did have 2 people hit me up on social media and say, hey, I'm done reselling. I have my entire closet. Do you want to buy it from me? And so I did buy 2 different closets over the summer. It wasn't actively sourcing though. They sent me a message. I said, sure, I'll come get it. They were local. I went and picked it up and I came home. So I did work little pieces here and there, but not to the extent that I am when the kids are in. I'm noticing that buying people's closets are seeming to be better for me. It's hard to find the amount of inventory they want and sourcing. So let me know what you guys are doing, what you're noticing as well. And Tommy, Seattle is here. Hi, Sarah. Welcome back. You're saying summer is over. No. Well, I had this talk with my 7-year-old this morning, and technically, summer does not end until I think it's September 19th, right? September 20th is the first day of fall. So you have time. My summer has ended with the children. The Thrifty Broad is here. If you guys do not follow Vandy's Closet, oh, it was Vandy's Closet. Right now it's the Thrifty's Broad. Sorry. Lots of good information, YouTube and social media as well. PJ Miller is here. Thanks for hanging on. Thanks for checking in, PJ. Thrifty Broad is saying the bins have been great in my area over the summer. I live in the Seattle area. So I have been back. It'll be 2 weeks yesterday. What day is today? Wednesday. Yeah. So it'll be 1 week yesterday. They went back on a Tuesday. I haven't gone to the bins yet. I will probably go maybe this week. I was trying to get caught back up, get photos. I like to be a month ahead. And so kind of get things organized. If you follow my Instagram, I haven't cleaned my and organized in the entire summer. So last week I spent a lot of time doing that, getting things caught back up. So I'm hoping to be able to maybe go to the bins this week. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with the bins. It's very time consuming at times to find. I'm hoping to be listing 100 items a week. I'm trying to take weekends off. So I'm hoping to do 20 items, 20 listings a day. So that means if I'm listing 20 items a week, I need to have at least 100 items to list. And finding 100 items at the bins every week, that's a lot, right? I could do it sourcing when it was good. Thrifting, I could do that in about 4 hours. So I'm going to kind of watch, subscribe if you're not already subscribed and follow this journey with me. As you know, I follow my data to tell me what it's saying. And on that note, let me share with you, so far the buyouts that I have been doing have actually been okay. Now, keep in mind, I do have to get more data. I only have a couple months in there. So do keep that in mind when we look at this, but we're going to go ahead and take a peek. Can you guys see that? We're going to take a peek at the Sarah Style Sales and Trends dashboard. This is my spreadsheet that I use when looking at my data and making strategic decisions. And if we're going to go over here to the inventory tab, I put this on my stories. Before I get really into YouTube videos, again, I'm constantly sharing helpful information on my Instagram story. So definitely check that out. We're going to scroll down here So we're right now looking at August. It's 24 days into the month. But if you come down here, I had this buyout and then this closet buyout. These are two separate buyouts that I did. One was actually at the beginning of the year. So we do have about 6 months worth of data. The second buyout that I've done, I have not had any of it listed yet. And some of this is slowly starting to be listed from photos that I was taking last week. But we're already at a $33 profit. So this is taking out my cost of goods. You can see for this other one, a $39 profit. Those are some of my thrifted. This thrift store, I must have had a couple really good ones. This thrift store, I'm up at $40. But you can see these buyouts are definitely up there in some of my higher profits. And friends, it means that I am not having to go out there and so spend the time sourcing. Yes, I do have to go pick it up and I do have to go get it. And it does take me hours to go through and organize. People have asked me, I do retake all the photos because with my process, it just gets it into my spreadsheet. It gets it into my VAs. It's just easier for me to do that. Some of the buyouts that I've done, people have said, hey, you can use my photos, you can use my listings. And it was just too much work to do that. And I have my processes down pat. So I kept up with that. That was a long tangent. This is a Q&A. So if you do have questions, do make sure to pop those into the comment or the thread. If it's a question, go ahead and do like question marks and caps because I don't want to forget. I don't want to miss it. I do have some questions that were given to me previously on social media, Instagram, and I had a form down in the description. So I'll do those ones first. Let's check in and then we'll kind of get to it. Thrifting has sucked. 3 months ago, always walked out 20 plus items. Last 2 weeks with 2 items. I'm noticing this, and I mentioned a little bit yesterday in my stories when I went to a thrift store, but there was still decent-ish stuff, but the prices were really high. And I think reselling is, or the newer generations are definitely into the sustainability and they're out thrifting for themselves. And so thrift stores can make more money doing it. And I'm not hating on them. Like they have a business to run. One of the thrift stores that I go to is a nonprofit. And so the money that they're making is going, I've actually used their services for my child. They go to help people with disability. So if they're going to make more money, I can't hate on them for it, but it does make my job a lot harder. So we'll have to see what's going to happen. Let me know what you guys are doing. Toda Evergreen, I think it's great you're buying other people's closets. What's your average cost of good with those endeavors? So this question was probably asked before I showed the data. It's usually, I honestly like to keep it unless I've seen the closet and I know every single item in the closet and I know what my return is going to be. Typically, if I'm buying blind or I've seen like some of their items, I like to keep it around thrift store prices, assuming that it's going to be selling around, what I normally would sell. If I would buy it at a thrift store, then I will buy it from them. Oftentimes what I'm doing is saying, like, I'm in talks with 2 people right now. If you guys have a closet that you want to sell, send me a DM. I'm in talks with 2 people right now. They say, hey, I have some of it listed. Not all of it's listed. So I took a look through their closet and said, hey, this looks like things that I would probably normally pick up. And so I send them an offer of, roughly thrift store $35 an item. And then even if half of it is less, half of it is stuff that I probably wouldn't sell, then my cost of goods will still be okay to make a profit on the items that I do end up keeping. And so this is my process. I did an Instagram reel on my process and kind of how I go through and do it. I go through and pick out everything that I'm going to sell. I make a pile and sell things back to like Play-Dohs and, buy, sell, trade places that aren't worth it for me to put the time and energy into listing myself, but I know that I can make some money. And then I work closely with a nonprofit here in Denver that helps. They have a whole boutique store for women's shelters and for kids, and it's just a free boutique store and they need to keep it inventoried. So I donate a lot of clothes to them to help them donate back to the community. Hey, Jim D. Great to catch you live. Thank you guys so much for coming. My kids are in school, so if I do lives, it's going to be more during the day. So I'm popping on to see if this works. You guys can watch it. Leave comments. If you're watching this later, oh wow, you're down 50% on the first screen. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, so question. We will come back to this. Actually, I'll answer this one and then I'll get into the questions that I had from my social media, just because I don't want to forget to come back. So question, which platform do you think is easiest to start on for a retiree? I think it depends on what you sell. I only sell on 2 platforms. There's like 25, probably even more now, platforms. It depends on what you sell and how much work you're willing to put in it and time. I think Poshmark, I started on Poshmark. I sell women's clothing, shoes, and purses. Poshmark is definitely easier in the sense of you don't have to know shipping. They send you a shipping label, so you don't have to know any shipping. You don't have to know how much things weigh. It's super easy. They send you a label. It's a bit more time consuming because the algorithm is slightly different than eBay. eBay to me is more complex, but then ends up being easier once you learn all of it. But the thing with eBay, and this is why I always caution people with starting on eBay, unless you're going to be very methodical and really pay attention to what you're doing and get good at it, you want to be careful, because if you make a little mistake on eBay, it can really hurt your store for a long time. So if you're a person who's going to go in and have the time, when I started, I had little kids at home, and I really didn't have that time to be that methodical and really learn it and get good at it. eBay is the best platform. If you guys want to look at my data, eBay definitely 2-3 times what Poshmark is, but it's definitely a more intricate setup on the background. The listing's a little bit harder, but you're going to have a broader audience. So I think it kind of depends there. I know a lot of people, I don't sell on Mercari, but if there's people in the comments or in the stream that sell on Mercari, drop a note there. My guess on Mercari is it's a little bit between Poshmark and eBay. So if Poshmark's not really your scene, then maybe Mercari would be a little bit better. All right. So I did have someone ask how my summer went. So we'll get into that. Personally, it was a fantastic summer. The kids are fantastic ages, I think. We did so much stuff, them not having naps anymore, and even being able to spend like the whole day doing something. We were hiking, we were swimming, we went on vacations, lots of, it wasn't so much like the story times. I'm not really a little kid person. So some people really dig into that, but I am really enjoying their ages right now and just getting to know their personalities, and taking the summer off was absolutely fantastic. I was shipping, like I said, but I was not stressed about like getting work done and getting on YouTube. And I was really just able to enjoy the time with the kids and with the family. From a professional standpoint, it was also fantastic because I prepped ahead of time. I have a video I did, it launched during the summer. I prepped YouTube videos. So I was still launching a YouTube video every single week, even though I wasn't making any YouTube videos. I scheduled them ahead of time. I really spent April and May prepping so that I could stay consistent. YouTube and reselling, social media, really like the consistency. And I know that. So I wanted to stay consistent without actually having to work. So professionally, I got a dip on YouTube as I usually do during the summer. I think people are out doing things. There's a summer slump on reselling as well, but we can go ahead and take a look at what my data looked like for the summer. So you can see here, it was a little bit of a dip. Oh, you can't see last year anymore. You could. It was pretty much on par with last year, slightly less than last year, but not by a ton. I was still doing, in June, I did $6,200. And sorry, I can't see this on my screen. In July, I did $6,100. So I was still making $6,000. These are gross numbers, but I was still making $6,000. And friends, it was essentially passive income. I was launching and I was shipping, but you're talking like 10 minutes a day, maybe. I was spending time with my family. So personally, it was great. Professionally, it was great. Honestly, I wasn't as motivated to come back as I have been in years past. But now that I'm back at it, I'm definitely excited. 2 really big things happened this summer as well. I was asked to speak at the eBay Open, which is beyond an honor for me. eBay is so big and there's so many amazing sellers, and it wasn't something that I applied to do. They sent me an email and said, hey, we'd love to have you speak. And I am speaking on tools and analytics, which is like right up my alley. Definitely excited for that. I have the link down below if you guys want to go to the eBay Open. It is virtual. They have a couple live events where they're like getting together and watching it virtually, I think, in different cities. I know here in Denver, one eBliss is putting on an event too, a watch party that we're all going to get together and watch it for a little bit as well. It's being shown, I think my session is being shown twice, so 2 different times, but I'm pretty sure it's free virtual. And then if you show up, you get like it's like maybe $20 if you go to one of their live sessions or one of their like in-person sessions. I went to it last year and it was virtual, and the information was absolutely amazing. And what I loved about being virtual is I could go to the ones that I wanted to They had some networking chats as well. So I definitely recommend it. Obviously, I recommend you guys coming and seeing me. I will be in the chat during the session as well, so chatting with you guys as well. And the other thing that was really exciting that happened to me as well is one of the local news channels here in Denver reached out to me and said, hey, we're doing a segment on, some side hustles, and everyone, the economy is kind of turning right now, how you can make some extra money. Would you like to come on the news and talk about your side hustle that has turned into a full-time income? Which is super exciting. So I have the link for that down below. It was like a 5-minute maybe session, just talking about reselling and stuff. Super honored to have been able to do that. So altogether, it was a great summer. Moving into the fall, what I was doing last year, I was subbing last year. So I will also be subbing this year. And previous years, my kids are in school full time now. Every child, all 3 of them are in full day, which gives me more time, but it also, I'm trying to find more of a balance now, where some evenings I would do YouTube lives and do certain things here and there as I could fit it in. Most Saturday mornings I would go sourcing. So I'm trying to probably just work the same amount of hours now and just really get it into when the kids are at school so that I can really have some good quality family time as they grow older. Definitely subscribe and follow me to see how that is going. All right, let's get to the second question. So someone was asking, did you go on vacation and how did you handle your store? Do you go on vacation mode? So like I said, I wasn't working this summer, but I didn't go on vacation mode this summer because I was still shipping. My shipping, everything's at home. This is why I don't have a storage unit. Everything is at home. I've gotten my processes to be 2 hours. God, that would take forever. 2 minutes and less an item. So I was selling, 5 items a day. It took me 10 minutes to ship. So when I was physically at my house still, I was not on vacation mode. We did go on one vacation where we were out of the state and I just could not ship. I have trained shippers in the past, but none of them got to a place where I felt comfortable with allowing someone else that aspect of my business. Didn't want them shipping the wrong item. So I did go on vacation mode. That was my very first time on eBay going on vacation mode. And they do have, you just go in, you select vacation mode. You can set an auto reply that says, hi, we'll get back to you. I'm on vacation. I'll get back to you as soon as I can, or whatever you want to say. And I did that for an entire week. I had an Instagram reel on it. So I don't remember exactly. It's on my Instagram reels when I came back what my sales were. I think maybe over the course of the 5 days that we were out, the 5 business days that we were gone, it was like maybe $800 in sales. So I still allowed sales to come in. I answered questions as I had time. But the vacation mode was great because it automatically updates when you're going to be back. It gives an auto reply. So I definitely recommend it. Did my sales go down because of it? No, they were pretty on par from what they normally are. It's hard to know if people didn't buy because it was going to be 5 days. But for the most part, they were pretty on par. The week after I got back, my sales were awful. But I don't know if it's a correlation from being on vacation or it was like, because this was the end of July, or if it was just like everyone is trying to get in their vacations before the summer ends. As far as Poshmark goes, friends, I didn't do anything. After 3 days, you'll get a notification that says, hey, ship the item. But I think it's like 7 or 10 days before Poshmark really gets on you to ship the item. So after the 3 days, if I got that, if I sold something and then they're like, hey, remember to ship the item, I would send the person a message and say, hey, I'm out of town. I don't have my inventory with me. I will be shipping it in 2 days. Every single person was fine with that. Thanks for letting me know. No big deal. I did have one person give me like a 4-star rating when they got back because of shipping time, which is completely understandable. They bought the day that I left. So it took me 7 days to ship. I did notify them and they said it was fine, but there's not a way on Poshmark to say what your shipping time is. So I completely understand that. So we have a couple more people popping on. If you guys are here, let me know is in the chat. I definitely have missed all of you guys and connecting with my reseller friends. If you guys like these lives, let me know also in the chat or in the comments if you want me to keep doing them. It'll honestly probably be pretty sporadic as I have time. Hey, I'm live. I have an hour, but let me pop on and then we'll get to some more questions. Let's see. So we do have a couple people that are selling on Mercari. So if you want a piece of scrap, if you want to connect to them. I've seen a lot of people get hurt by products owned by companies. Yeah, definitely going back to that. Sorry, should have been more clear. On the main page of your dashboard, it looked like you dropped 10K to less than 5K. Yes. Oh, okay. So we're going back to that. Yes. So my sales definitely dipped. definitely dip down here. So he is saying, let me pull this up. So in May, I was at about 8,000. I went down to about 6,000. April, I was about 8,000. March, I was at about 8,000. So yes, I did drop down about $2,000, but keep in mind, I wasn't doing anything. Normally when I am working, and I have a video coming out next week, so definitely check back because my sales have dipped. I have put a lot of time and effort in the past week to get them to come up. I think I'm up like 109% for the week on eBay with all of the things that I've been doing to get more traffic and get more sales. I wasn't doing any of that during the summer, so I did dip about $2,000. There's also the summer slump. Real, not real, that's up to you guys. I have seen it in years past, even when I am listing. The other thing I want to talk about too is I went from listing 12 items a day to listing 8 items a day. So I had less items available as well. So the sell-through rate, my sell-through rate, so sell-through rate is how many you sell out of how many that you have for sale. My sell-through rate did dip, but it was fairly consistent because I wasn't listing as many items, right? So I was not listing as many items, so that's why you're seeing less gross, if that makes sense as well. And I wasn't doing anything. Where this week I've been definitely subscribed because this video is going to be really great. It's coming out on Monday. I think it's 10 things. I think I wrapped it into 10 things that I've done, and my sales are absolutely up on eBay. I don't have my eBay screen up to show you guys, but over the past week, I think I'm up like 109% or something. So I'm definitely doing things to get the algorithm and get the sales back. There are things that you can do. You don't have to leave it to fate. Same with Poshmark as well. So, Mr. Styles, that's the hubby, if you can't tell, working. I recently bought your dashboard, which of your videos is the most comprehensive to view as a tutorial. So if you bought the dashboard, it comes with a how-to video. So there you go. There's a link when you purchase the dashboard. There's a link and it takes you directly to a how-to video. The Thrifty Broad. I'm working on getting ahead right now so I can have listings go live while I'm in England. And my bestie, who is a reseller, is shipping for me while I'm gone for 2 weeks. I would love to find a shipper. Honestly, that is one thing that I think would be really nice so that I can take these vacations without having to go on vacation mode. So good luck with that. I'm so excited that you're going to England. I know you've talked about moving there, so I'm wondering if this is kind of a finding a house to move or not, but that should be awesome. Getting ahead, I am always 1 month ahead. Because like in the spring, I had COVID. I was still listing every single day. I was still shipping every day. I didn't take any days off. My sales didn't make any. No, my sales did dip a little bit because I wasn't sending. I was actively not trying to get sales because I was so sick for so many days, and we all got it. So I was taking care of kids, but I didn't stop listing. I didn't stop shipping because I was ahead. I always try and at least have enough photos for a month ahead to send to my listers. Congrats on. Thank you. Thank you. I don't use vacation mode. So I'm interested to know if you just don't go on vacations or what you do instead. Before they came out with vacation mode, I just went through and edited my handling time for everything. And you can do that. There's a couple things that I have with this. You have to remember to do it. And if you're on vacation, like, I don't want to do that. The second thing, that if you have an offer out, you cannot go in and edit your listing. And so there was oftentimes that something would sell, I'd have an offer out and it would sell, and then it would be 1 day handling time and I would get dinged for that. The nice thing also is if you go in and change your handling time, and let's say an item sells on Sunday, you change your handling time on Monday and you're gone. Well, the item sold on Sunday, the person has 4 days to pay, right? So it sells in the middle of your vacation. If you don't ship it, you get dinged for that. If you're on vacation mode, it goes off of when they pay, not when it was purchased, which was really nice for those items that hadn't paid yet when I had gone on vacation. It is so hard, right? Like, this is the best job in the world. I can be on my schedule and around the kids and go on vacation and make money. You definitely have to work at it though. If you followed me April and May, I was working my butt off. I mean, 8 items a day times 2.5 months, hundreds of photos and items ahead, sourcing that many items to last me that long, taking photos of that many items. And then, I mean, I have amazing virtual assistants, but it's taken time up front to get them caught up. On that note, one of the questions was, let me ask you exactly how it was asked. It was on my virtual assistant. Let me find it. How does your VA know how to describe your items she or he lists for you? So this is a good question if you have a virtual assistant. If you guys do it, let me know your processes. One of the reasons that I stay in the categories that I stay in and kind of niche down is for this reason. Every once in a while, I'll get something kind of different and they won't really know how to list it. And I won't know how to list it. I would have to go in and do the research, and that's time consuming and it's not really their expertise. They, could just list what I've shown them. So that's one of the reasons that I really do stay in women's clothing, shoes, and purses. And I have really niched down into, like, I do a lot of jeans because I know they're good at it and I know that they're fast and I know that I can find them. And jeans are really easy. Most jeans have the style name in them. Most jeans, you can easily tell if they're skinny or if they're flared or, stuff like that. So a lot of the items that I look for and that I find clothing wise have style numbers in them, so they can look up the style number. And this is how I list too, so let me know if you guys do it differently, but you go look up what other people are saying until you start learning it, right? You look up the style number. You can use sometimes they will use Google Lens to find the listing someone else did and then kind of just go off of what someone else is listing. They don't launch it, I launch it. So oftentimes I will go in there and make some updates if it's something that I know. If it's something, so like, let's say jeans. Jeans are pretty straightforward. You put the name, you put the brand name, you put the style, you put the sizes, you put maybe the wash, something like that. Distress, those are pretty easy. If it's something that's like a little bit different, a lot of 90s and Y2K styles are coming back in. I don't expect them to know all the 90s and Y2K styles. So when I'm taking photos, I write 90s and Y2K, and then they know to put that in the title and then also like in the drop down filters for a listing, if that makes sense. I've done some vintage, and I will say it is much harder because these are all like little things that they have to know. But if you niche down to something, I think over time they would probably start learning, this is what this looks like. That is what this looks like. I've sent them graphics. So something that they didn't really know much of was like dresses, like the different style of dresses. You can very easily find a graphic like, this is what a fit and flare looks like. This is what a shift dress is. This is, just the different styles. And then I always review before I go ahead and launch. Let me check in with the chat, and then we have more questions. If you guys do have questions, it is before our school pickup. So I do have to go at a certain time. So if you do have questions, go ahead and leave them in the streaming and put question above it, and willing to answer any questions. Let's see. That's an awesome comeback. Let's see. eBay sell-through rate always throws me off. In most retail, the sell-through is sold. The sell-through rate is sold divided by sold plus for sale. This is how I calculate sell-through rate, and this is the most accurate way, because if it's sold during the time period that you're looking at, it was for sale, right? Where I agree with you, a lot of people on social media as well, and different ways that people calculate it, they just do the sold out of how many for sale, and that inflates the sell-through rate because you have less items for sale, which means that your sell-through rate is going to be higher because the items that you sold or that sold were for sale during that time period. So your denominator, I know we're getting mathy, your denominator should be a larger number. The smaller it is, the higher your sell-through rate is going to be, thus inflating the sell-through rate. So I agree with you on that. If you look at my numbers and my dashboard, this is the calculation that I use because that is the most accurate. She is moving. That's what I thought. Love denim. I love denim too. Gotta go get ready for a meeting. I like vacation. All right. Oh, and Mr. Styles, hit that like button. Hit that like, save it, share it. That all helps with the algorithm if you guys enjoy this. So if you guys do have questions, definitely let me know in the comments down below. Let's get back to some more questions. All right, another question is, oh, this is a good one. You guys have good questions. With the way the economy is, everything being so expensive, is it better to list lower value items to get more chances of selling more items? So this is going to depend on you. It's going to depend on your business model, what you have access to, what you know, what you niche down in. I will say personally for me, yes. I sell women's clothing, shoes, and purses. It is heavily saturated. There is no way that someone is going to come on and not find something cheaper. I don't have, very rarely do I have, or not find another listing. Very, very, very rarely do I have an item that there is not another listing on eBay. If you sell collectibles and there's only one of them, you set the price. Now, are people having less money? And so they may be willing to spend less than they did last year, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. Yes, but you ultimately set the price. If you sell heavily saturated stuff, yes, to your average sale price, so on average, how much items are you selling for, and your sell-through rate, essentially how many items you're selling, they kind of work like this, right? So as your average sale price goes up, your sell-through rate goes down. So think of like luxury sellers. You can sell a $3,000 Louis Vuitton bag, but if you're probably not selling a whole bunch of them, but you're making $3,000. I do a lot of tutorials on my channel about this, so check out some of the playlists. But you can sell high price items and not have to sell as many of them, and you're probably not going to. There's probably not as many people who have $3,000 to spend on a handbag. Now, if you are selling $20 items, you're going to have a lot more people who have an extra $20 to spend on a pair of jeans. So your sell-through rate is going to go up as your average sale price comes down. In an economy like today, you probably are going to have a better chance increasing your sell-through rate, becoming more of a quantity seller, because people have less money. They still need jeans. They still need things that I'm selling. They maybe don't need as many jeans as they used to, or the higher price fancy jeans, but they still need jeans. They still need these things. So you can work on increasing your sell-through rate as you decrease your average sale price. And in my sales that I'm doing right now, I always focus on when I'm coming back. This is a sneak peek to my video on Monday. As I'm coming back into things, the strategy I work on is sell-through, getting my volume up before I start getting my average sale price. People don't have money to be throwing around, right? Normally, not most people don't have money to be throwing around, but definitely right now, people don't have money to be throwing around. Now, I am not saying that you cannot sell high price items and have a business. You absolutely can, and there's people that do it. However, as times get harder, there's less and less people that have that money to do that. The economy is not quite there yet. Oftentimes, as the economy starts to go down, the people that get hit the last are the top percent. So if you're selling like super high luxury, you're probably not seeing much of an impact right now. But if you're kind of in that mid range, my average sale price has definitely declined over the entire pandemic, honestly, and it's getting worse, which means I'm focusing more on quantity. So I hope that helped, or that answered the question. If you guys do have questions, definitely make sure to leave them in the comments down below. Let me know how your summer was as well. So one of the other questions that I had, this is on social media previously, is what do you do with your old inventory? And in theory, I go through my old inventory. It was part of my goal for the year, is to go through like a bin a month, go through old inventory. If it hadn't sold, figure out what to do with it. In practice, I haven't done it yet. Last week was the first time that I went through about 1,500 items of old inventory, and I checked it against eBay. And of these, I have a reel coming out on Instagram. So pretend like you didn't hear this if you haven't seen my reel yet, but I went through about 1,500 items and checked them against eBay. eBay is, if it's on Poshmark, it's whatever. But eBay, checked it against eBay. And of those 1,500 items, 43 of the items were no longer even listed on eBay. And so then I decided, hey, is this worth me relisting it? And do I think I'm going to sell it and make a decent amount of money? Or should I just take it to a buy sell trade? And so I took some to a buy sell trade place and just got, paid cash or credit to buy other things or buy stuff for myself there. And some things I was like, hey, this was worth it. It probably sold and then didn't get relisted again. One of the things, and let me know if you guys find this too, but sometimes older listings just disappear on eBay. So it has been, in theory, part of my practice, to part of my habit that I want to build, to start going through old inventory. In practice, I don't like doing it, so I really never do it. But I would like to get into it. As far as old inventory goes, though, that is one of how I run sales. I run sales based off of when it was listed. So old inventory is on a 50% off sale right now. I have spent the time to buy it. I have spent the time to list it. I have it stored somewhere. I have to spend even more time to pull it out and take it somewhere or donate it. So I would rather make my money back, make $1 or $2, even lose money, because the algorithm is going to be happy. I would rather put it on auction for 99 cents on eBay, get a sale, and have eBay be happy than go through the process of getting rid of old stuff. When I went through old stuff last week, it was with the intent of making sure that I had things listed on eBay, and then I found things that weren't listed and then decided what to do from there. Let me know what you guys do with your old inventory. Do you just keep it forever? I work from home and I got more space because I went through old inventory. I got about space for 8 more bins, but I maxed out. So that is another reason that I have to be mindful of old inventory and making sure that I'm having turnover. If you have ultimate space, and depending on what you sell, if you sell collectibles or vintage and stuff, it may take you a couple of years to find that right buyer. I don't. I sell women's clothing. If someone hasn't bought this pair of jeans in 3 years when there's 500 other listings just like it, cut your loss, Sarah. Cut your loss, sell it for $5, get the algorithm on your side. All right, one more question, and then I think we'll go to a couple in the chat. So this is, I think this is someone, I think I know who this is. But so I said you could ask personal or private questions. However, I'm not going to get into these ones. What are your opinions on the following? Gay rights, abortions, Roe versus Wade, January 6th, the Ukraine-Russia conflict, religion, all religions, and last but not least, what is your biggest sale price of the summer? So I think I know who that person is, and they were just trying to be a little funny. That's not the purpose of this channel. I'm not going to get into any of that. Privately, if you want to talk about it, possibly I will. Every once in a while on my Instagram stories, I share certain things. You might get an idea of my personal beliefs. I do think that humans do have rights and that everyone should be treated equally, but I will leave it right there. As far as my biggest sale of the summer, honestly, I should have looked this up before. I don't remember. I feel like there was a couple sales that I was like, yeah, that was pretty good. I know that I sold a, what's it called? Dale of Norway. Is that if they're like sweaters? I found it at the bins. And I know I sold that recently. I don't know if it was summer or like last week when I had come back. I did sell that within like a day of listing it. Today and yesterday, I listed 2 Birkenstocks. Yesterday, I listed a Birkenstock, new with tags, and it sold for like $125 within a couple of hours. And then today I listed never worn, but they didn't have the tags on them. So it was a lower price. I listed those, and within 2 hours I sold them for $65. But as far as my biggest sale, I don't remember exactly. All right, let's see. If you guys do have questions, drop them in the section for me. If you guys have questions. Can we talk sweaters, specifically women's? I was picking up good higher priced ones, priced at market. Notice it takes forever to sell. Recently checked sell-through rate and it seems so low. I mean, it seems like you're doing all the right things with sweaters. It probably depends. I mean, right now, probably not the best time. Maybe slowly starting to pick up. Definitely a seasonal item. So I don't know if you're noticing this over the course of the year or just over the summer. If you're in a seasonal because if you sell internationally, you probably won't see quite as a big of a dip because, in our summer, it's going to be someone else's fall and winter. You won't see as much, but it's definitely a seasonal type of item. Honestly, and I've done videos on this, I don't pick up sweaters, jackets, boots, anything that's really bulky. I've actually done videos on breaking down the math behind how much each item is worth space-wise. If you buy, so let's say I have a big bulky sweater and it's going to sell for $30. I can fit 3 pairs of jeans in the same place that it takes for that sweater, and it takes me half the time to take photos of jeans than it does of a sweater. So even if the jeans sell at $20, but I have 3 of them, I'm making double the amount of money because of the sweater. And I think I'll notice too that my sell-through rate for tops and sweaters is definitely lower. I will take the risk on jackets. oftentimes, not every jacket, but if I found like a down Patagonia, I would absolutely take it because that's going to sell for $100+. So even if it takes up the space of 3 pairs of jeans, I'm still making more money at it. I don't honestly look at tops and sweaters in these stores very frequently because I find that the return just isn't there for me. If you guys sell sweaters, let me know what you think and what you're noticing as well. I absolutely know that I am not the end all be all when it comes to reselling. Not sure what my question is, but what can I do to get rid of my backlog causing sales don't seem to work? Backlog of too many items? Let me see. Oh, running a sale doesn't seem to work. You can watch my video on Monday on how to kind of increase your things. But what I would say ultimately when someone's like, how can I increase my sales, is do all the things. I do coupons, I do offers, I run sales, I take offers, I send coupons, I have immediate responses, I check out my competition. And you want to, if all of your competition has free shipping, you need to do free shipping too. If all of your, especially if you're new or if you're seeing a slump in sales, if you are selling, I'm assuming you sell in women's clothing as well because you're asking sweaters, or even men's. If you sell on something that's highly competitive, you have to be the best. So if you do not have one of these stores that everyone knows and you have 1 million positive feedbacks, you have to be better than your competition or they will go somewhere else. Work on your feedback, work on being a top rated seller plus, offering free returns. If there's 2 items, someone's like, oh, there's 2 sweaters. Likely if you're in women's clothing, they're going to find that same listing. You're probably not the only one out there. So what is going to set you apart from your other sellers? And sometimes it means you're not making a lot of money, and that's part of reselling. You have to figure out what categories and where your profit can be. It happens. I need to establish that practice of going through my old inventory. It's the worst, right? I was paying my niece for a little bit to do it, but she's a teenager now and she does competitive soccer and doesn't have the time. Hello, Annabelle. Let's see, my eBay sales slow past month. Hopefully going to pick up soon. Was thinking of adding more sweaters and jeans. Jeans are definitely where it's at. I actually have a video coming out in 2 weeks about something that I did with my jeans as well. But what I'm going to say, eBay offers you tools, use them. If you're noticing slower sales, sometimes there's reasons, but really dig into that data and analytics and figure out, is there a reason for this? Is there something that's happening, or it's just the season that it is and what's happening. I know for me, for the summer, my sales were down because I was listing less and I wasn't doing anything. I was selling offers, sending offers here and there, but I really just wasn't paying attention. Sell through on eBay is just last 90 days, so it wouldn't be accurate for winter items now. I'm not sure where you're referring to sell through. If you go through and look at Terapeak data, you can customize it. You can do 7 days, you can do 90 days, you can do 30 days. So it's going to depend on what you're looking at in eBay, where that sell-through rate is. I was researching a video before this live to talk about how to use Terapeak data and looking at it, and what are the categories that I was looking at. And this will probably be released in a couple of weeks, but the categories that I was looking at was a seasonal item. And so looking at the past 30 days, I would be looking at summer. I don't want to know what the sell-through rate for is summer. So I'll show you in the video, but you can go through and customize it and look at sell-through rates for previous time periods in Terapeak. I do have to go get my children. There's multiples. Maybe I'll just pick up one today. One would probably actually like staying at school a little bit longer. So if you guys do have any last questions, leave them in the chat or in the live stream. I really enjoyed doing this chat. I love talking with you guys. I'm thinking maybe I'll get a couple other people on here and there as well. I always love talking with other people. If you guys have certain lives that you'd like to see, I know in the past I've done like eBay store reviews. So if you think that's helpful, let me know. I'm trying to get back into the flow of things and see what people want. I do think I had one more question. And then if anyone has a question, leave it in the chat. If you're watching this in a recording later, you can definitely feel free to leave comments down below and let me know if you have any other questions. Let's see. I think that might be it. that's all I have. So, I appreciate this live. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for joining. Definitely, if you have questions, always feel free to DM me. Social media, Instagram is probably the best, quickest response that you'll get. Sarah Styles LLC. Thanks so much for joining, and make sure to subscribe and hit that like button on your way out.